This is Noel Tate, one half of the Velvet Drapes from Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend D.G. Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome, dear friends, once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits,
Phil, Podcast Perich.
Welcome, podcast! Oh! So glad you have come back to join us. We have got a lot to talk about, including the big Devil's Reign tie-in, Superior 4, number dos. You know, it's weird.
Part 14 of the crossover, if you're keeping track, kids.
Yeah. But isn't it weird that, like, there's only 3 issues in Superior 4?
Yes. I think most of them some of them only got 1, but I mean, yeah, it's either like 1, 3, or I think, the main series is yeah.
I'm just saying it's
the
Superior 4.
But it's like Elektra only got 3, yeah.
Well, that's going to be my big prediction in the third as to why there's only 3, and they're going to make it all tie together. But first, I want to talk about Howard the Duck joining the cast of She-Hulk.
Oh.
Are you ready for this, Philip?
Yes, sir.
So, and this is, so apparently, in a French Disney magazine hyping the soon-to-come She-Hulk film, there is the suggestion that Howard the Duck will be joining the series, because apparently one of the titles is, and I'm looking for where it actually says the title of it, and I can't seem to find it here. But anyway, so the idea is that there's some implication. You know, is it called What the Duck? I don't know. But anyway, What the Duck, it is an interesting question whether or not Howard the Duck will be in this. I actually think he is a perfect person to fit into this, especially because here's the thing that no one is talking about. Howard the Duck was in Endgame.
Yeah. Well, he was before that. Wasn't he in one of those cages of the collectors in one of those Guardians of the Galaxy movies? So he was even there before Endgame.
Oh, yeah, no, he was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. That's established. Yeah. That's not the problem. What's going on is that Howard the Duck came through one of the portals in Endgame. And there's no reason to think he did that intentionally.
Oh, no. It's going to be like that original comic series. He just got dumped on Earth, yeah.
And likewise, there's no reason to think anyone's going to know how to get him back, or he's going to know who to ask. And for all we know, he probably tried to get out of there. In fact, I would love to see an entire thing that opens up
just him running
at the battle of Endgame, and just you see him coming through, and then it's just like, wah, and running away. And then we see him, several years later, reuniting, meeting up with She-Hulk, and then establishing what this story is going to be. Maybe even involving a man thing of some sort. I'm very excited about the She-Hulk series. I would love it if they have Howard in it. They're already doing a CGI She-Hulk, so I think a CGI Howard is not a hard thing to add to the show. If anything else, it'll make She-Hulk look more realistic because she's standing next to a CGI duck.
True.
No, it's coming out. It's still coming out, but that there is a good chance one of the characters in it will be the Great Howard the Duck. So, and this is all based on rumors in French magazines, but that are published by Disney, but that are actually even only referencing rumors within the rumors, because it's like after he married Darcy, where will he show up next in the MCU? And that's the suggestion.
What if she's Howard's lawyer for some reason?
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Although I also like when he's a detective.
Yes.
I could absolutely see him being a detective, using his duck-like abilities.
And quack fu.
Quack fu, yeah. Well, I'm a master of quack fu, Maybe he's hiring himself out as a bodyguard, There's any number of things it could be. And it could just be that he runs afoul of Titania.
Afoul?
Oh, no pun intended. I actually did not intend that pun, so that was funny. And it's just the idea that, there's lots of things that he could actually find himself up in. But, or it's just another misdirect like every other time we assume, it says the devil's in the details. Mephisto can confirm.
I guess people probably won't bat that much of an eye at him because we're at the point people know aliens exist. Half the population was blinked out for 5 years, so it's like, oh, okay, a talking duck, some alien, okay.
Yeah, but it's. I think as long as he stays to the city, as long as he stays to Cleveland, he'll be fine.
Or is he going to go to New York? Because is that where She-Hulk's going to be? So.
Yeah, could be. So so he goes to New York. He's trying to because he says, "I heard that the doctor that gets you to different dimensions is here."
Maybe he tries to get to Strange. Yeah,
that would be interesting. So there we go. That's our plot line for Howard the Duck.
Wait a minute. So is it confirmed that he was in Endgame? That he was on Earth in Endgame?
Yeah, he's in Endgame. If you watch it, you actually see him running across the field.
Okay.
In one scene, when they first all run out of the portals, it's there. As is typical for Howard the Duck, and there's a big battle. There's Howard the Duck.
Or what if they did send him home, but then he pops out of a portal again in Multiverse of Madness?
Anything's possible. It's I just left here.
Exactly.
Anything's possible. It's going to be exciting to see what they do with it all. I'm hoping good things happen for Howard. I really like the character of Howard the Duck. I think Seth Green has done a good job with him so far. I think he plays a little too smarmy. I do think you got to have a little bit more of a heroic heart if you're Howard. Howard is more, I think, misanthropic than smarmy.
Oh, yeah.
That's my take. It's he's misanthropic, but he's actually a very compassionate misanthrope, which is a nice oxymoron, but I think that is a good way to define who Howard the Duck is he's a compassionate misanthrope. And, doesn't mean you any particular harm, but he still doesn't like you. Anyway, so that's that. Like I said, it's minor news, but it is exciting. If you're a Howard the Duck fan, like I am, that's exciting that he might be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, but that's not what people came here today for, Phil. They came here to find out what's going on with the Dark Reign and Superior 4 number 2.
I know. I had to twist your arm to talk about Otto Octavius. So.
Yeah, he is awesome. Although, in this, you get the basic problem of too many Ottos spoiling the soup. And I do think that is going to be part of our problem here, is that, we see all of the different universes in which Otto dies, and of course, Otto Von Doom, the Supreme Otto, who is, it's just part of his storyline. Although maybe TJ didn't. Maybe Tyler Torbert Jr. actually had a decent father. That was the one that actually got the Spartan powers as a teenager. So,
but I was going to say,
he killed.
I was going to say, do you think maybe that's isn't it a true Otto, or maybe he's in someone else's body like the rest of them? Because it's that's Otto Von Doom. I mean, you never see his face. He's completely
but they all. I mean, they're all called Ottos, and they all seem to. They all show that Otto. They have the same abusive father parentage, so they all seem to. That even though it's a banner, it's the same. It's like the essence of Otto in each of these cases.
Well, I thought the Doom said to them, it's like, oh, you're all men who've switched bodies, and
Well, I think they sing "You Can" or something like that, And he might have even been talking to Otto when he says that.
Oh, he says you are men who mind swap bodies for sport. You can be anyone you want. Why murder your own kind?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they can. Yeah, so they can mind swap bodies for sport, but that doesn't mean they have.
I love kneel before me, and I'll stretch your minds until you can peer through atoms. And then the Banner one's like, what happens when you atoms split?
Yes, well, that's the thing is that they are still who they are, but it is interesting how it all plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and of course, in every, so even at the start of it, because already, the other team is starting to like have second guesses after they killed TJ.
Yeah.
They already know this doesn't seem right. I don't think this is something you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to kill your other variants in other universes. And that they know this is his plan to sort of steal all of the powers of the other Autos to become more powerful. A more powerful Auto.
I just wonder if like this whole 3-issue series is taking place maybe between Devil's Reign 3 and 4, because remember Devil's Reign 4 last week, he was in the black suit, and it's like I remember asking him like, are they like giving him a makeover or something? I wonder if that's going to be one of the effects of like the end of this series, if he's going to like somehow remake himself in whatever image he, I don't know.
It's just gonna next clone bat. Just
could be, or just some kind of, or he hijacks the body of an Auto from another universe or something.
Anything is possible in that sense,
Yeah.
But my actual thought was that he actually gets a little euthanized. He gets de-aged, as they say. That he actually, which actually makes me think that he actually is, building himself a better body, and in this, it is interesting. And also when we see so essentially what happens is, the 3 other Autos are trying to stop Auto. They get pulled into the Forever Gate. Auto goes to grab the failsafe, and he misses, which is just typical Auto. Just doesn't plan ahead as well as he should. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like, why would you have like a separate handheld device? Couldn't he like build something into like attach to one of those arms or something, so you never have to like put it down?
Next time, that's what he'll do. And again, it's always weird to me whenever Otto is dismissive of magic in a universe in which magic is real. And I can get the idea that he might say, no, you're just manipulating energies, and all energies, da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know how to da-da-da these energies, And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it is an energy. I'm not denying it's an energy, but it's an energy that you don't understand, and you have not spent years to master it,
Well, that's like one of the things, like, guys like Tony Stark, like they've shown some of these scientists in this universe, like, that have like they abhor magic, or they're just like, eh. But I wonder too if like Otto's extra sensitive these days just because of the whole Mephisto thing.
Yeah, and that's the real interesting thing about Otto, because really and that's something we're going to get into when we get into Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because Mephisto really did. Remember, Mephisto's currently running a long game. Which is like the weirdest thing, that in Devil's Reign, the devil isn't even mentioned, like the devil, no, we mean Daredevil. And it's like, really? That's what we mean? After all this build up, but I do get the feeling that, and I do think Otto was going to be important to all of this. But I think what the actual point that we're supposed to get from this, after the Supreme Octopus, Otto Von Doom Supreme, or however he defines himself. Otto Supreme, I think he calls himself. After he defeats each of the 4, and they lock up Otto in the Sanctum Sanctorum.
After they rip his arms off. Well, the mechanical arms, yeah.
And you notice that there are other Ottos in the prison as well.
Oh, yeah, you see one like skeleton with the arms on it, yeah.
Yeah, and I get the feeling this is why there's only 3 issues. Because in the 30s, it's going to be like, why did I think I needed other autos? There can only be one superior auto, and I am the superior auto, Octavius. You know? And that's when he goes in and ups his game. Oh, and actually, when we look at our next issue, issue 3, we see Otto alone against the new Octavius 4. So,
yep.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I get the feeling he is going to come back with some sort of a changed perspective, and I think he's going to. Oh, a swamp one. Oh, a leaf one? Where? Oh, yeah, there is. I mean, I don't know if maybe that's supposed to be Superior Doom, Strange Doom. I don't know. Maybe it's Man Doom.
What the
man auto thing? Tristan pointed out that some of the tentacles in the final cover have leaves on them.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at that dead Otto in the cell he's in, I mean, it looks like those arms are like some kind of organic, whether they're plant life or something.
Yeah. So that's where he is going to find. Oh, yes, and the plants are coming after him now. Oh, to reawaken that one, perhaps. But yeah, so we're going to have to see how this all plays out with the autos in the 3rd issue. But I do think the big reveal is going to be that, you know, Otto is the only auto you need. The one true superior auto is the true superior auto.
Okay, here's a big question. We're two-thirds through this series. I mean, you're the #1 Otto Octavius fan. Are you enjoying this series, or do you have any problems with this series?
My biggest problem with this series is that they did not give the Hulk the right number of arms until this issue. He had 4 arms in the first issue. They finally gave him 6 arms in this, because he should have 6 arms.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Otto has 4 mechanical arms, but he also has his 2 human arms. And when you give the Hulk 2 human arms, he needs the extra 4 arms behind him. So
yes, but by their nature, aren't any Hulks aren't any of the Hulk shapeshifters? So can't the Hulk just like make as many arms as he wants?
I mean, well, I don't know if he can just will himself to have more arms. But, I mean, certainly that is the old joke about Kirby and anatomy. That, you know, he probably drew him with a couple extra arms on occasion.
No thumbs or something, yeah.
He just had, like, metal claw arms. Like, they were very poorly defined arms, actually. Because they're Otto Octaviuses. Because that's how the character is designed, Tristan. It's not a real thing that happened. It's a choice. It was an artistic, stylistic choice made by the artists and the writers. We don't really get the actual stories of them. You know, we just know that he was Otto Banner, and he got exposed to a gamma bomb and became a Hulk. Anyway, so this is what's interesting, because in Amazing Spider-Man, we basically see they have not only stolen, Beyond has not only stolen Otto's cloning technology, but also his memory scaffolding. So the ability to build minds and rewrite minds and do all that, which makes me think they have the backup, the backup Otto from Superior Spider-Man. You know, so maybe that's what we're gonna get at the end. At the end of that, he is going to use his old technology stolen from the Beyond Corporation, and that's the big tie. Is that's where he comes out with all of his memory, and then maybe it's like this whole thing. Yes, this was actually all part of my plan to get the data points I needed to rebuild who the Superior Otto truly always was along, to get back what I stole from what they say I traded to that demon, as if I would ever make such a stupid mistake, you know?
I mean, the end's coming soon for the Beyond stuff. I think they said issue 93, so.
I hope we get an actual explanation of what the heck they are.
I wonder if Otto would have been in the Beyond storyline more if he wasn't, traveling the multiverse right now.
Yeah, well, I think that was. Here's the thing, they wrote him out to have him work with Fisk, to have him, build the thing. But then once he's in the Baxter Building, then he's like, "Oh, I get to play in Richard's playground.
Oh yeah,
and here's the Forever Gate. So yeah, I'm gonna go do my thing."
I mean, I don't think they would ever. I don't think they would ever cross the stuff over. But it would just be like towards the end. How awesome would it be if like he just came up Beyond with like multiple versions of himself?
Yeah,
like you wanted Otto Octavius, you're going to get Otto Octavius.
An army of Ottos.
A Sinister Six.
But again, if 4 Ottos didn't work, why would 6?
I know. Well, maybe he didn't find the right ones. He just went with that branding, that new Fantastic Four branding.
Yeah, and I get the idea, but it's like I said, it would have been. It was fun that they did the Hulk, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Fantastic Four. So I mean that's
interesting. Otto's the Spider-Man of this. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Well, but that's the thing. That's what they. It's funny. It is funny that what was effectively just a one-off kind of story.
Yeah, it was like 3 issues. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, grew up into such a legendary Fantastic Four, and it is odd that is just a reality of it.
Well, again, too, it happened in the 90s. So, Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider, all they needed was the Punisher, and that was the you want a picture of the 90s.
Was that Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, or was that the other one?
No, that was Danny Ketch. That was Danny Ketch, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they said they're doing like a miniseries or something for that soon. So they're doing like another new Fantastic Four story.
Of
the new Fantastic Four. I think it's like a miniseries or something, so.
Of the Hulk, Spider-Man, Danny Ketch.
Yeah, I don't know if it's set back in the 90s or not, but yeah.
Well, they weren't together that long. That's
no,
the only thing.
It was one. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they weren't even an official team. They were like brought together by a Skrull, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, who's posing a Sue? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like even its officialness as a Fantastic Four team was always questionable.
There was 4 of them.
Yeah, that's all it takes. So we have the Goblin Queen. We have Pete working through his physical therapy and sadly not really able to hang on to the ceiling as well as he could have. Which I actually think this is a very interesting way that it's working. Just how he was so damaged in that battle.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, he usually heals up pretty quick from like battles and stuff, but I wonder if it was just from X-ray, if the radiation is what slowed his like healing and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was actually waiting for whatever Otto did to cure him to actually take away his superpowers.
Oh yeah,
which maybe it did on some level. Just that reality that Otto doesn't know Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Yeah. Otto's not thinking about, he just says, oh, all this excess radiation, okay, here's how we get rid of it. Part of that excess radiation is radioactive spider blood.
Exactly. Maybe just temporarily he dampened those powers just enough where he's not healing as quick as he usually does, yeah.
Exactly. That's my headcanon, and I hope you enjoy it. They realize that the Goblin Queen is out there. Peter says, I have to do it. It's like, no, you can't. You physically cannot. But she, Black Cat webs him up and then goes to fight the Goblin Queen on her own. And that is, Goblin Queen is a really interesting character. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Is this supposed to be like, is this character like, what do you name it? Because this is, Dr. Kafka.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's her clone because the original's been dead for a while. Yeah, it's the clone of Kafka. Yeah,
but they mixed her clone with I guess, was that like Carnage Osborn stuff, or I'm not quite sure where the Red Goblin comes from, but it's pretty scary, and it's actually pretty dark. Her power, her Goblin gaze.
Yep.
Which basically, it's like it messes you up. But we do get Peter to the rescue. Now, here's the big question for me in this. how did Peter get there? And why isn't he wearing a mask? So obviously he didn't care that much. So I wonder if that's going to come back from that. This strange young man was seen swinging on webs across the city. Is this the real Spider-Man?
Well, I think Black Cat still had his suit. I don't think he had the suit with him. Oh yeah, because Mary Jane pulls it out. Yeah, he didn't have the suit with him, but
yeah, but it's like, normally he would put something over his face.
Yeah.
Opted not to do anything for that. So, but I guess he felt he just didn't have time. But he does save her.
Mm-hmm.
Although, man, that is pretty dark. That to actually get you to step off of the ledge.
Yes.
Usually, your powers can't do that. So that is
basically the Goblin Queen's just like, you're worthless. Yeah, you're better
and they're gonna send Peter out there, and then we find out that actually Janie is the one who freed Peter.
Yep. Yeah.
So she knows where Ben is, and it's going to be interesting where it goes. And I don't know if the next episode is the one where they fight, because there is
you get the cover with the Goblin Queen and Ben.
Yeah, but I've also seen the teaser for, I think it's the final issue.
Oh yeah, the two of them fight, the two Spider-Men fighting.
It's like, it will not just shock you, it will traumatize you.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna get traumatized, Phil.
So I wonder if they're gonna have to rebuild Ben's brain, and it's he's just gonna be like, don't be giving me all the Parker memories back. I don't need great power, great I don't need Uncle Ben's death in my head. I don't need Gwen Stacy's death in my head.
Yeah, well, you can just have the essence of Peter.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what he gets. I mean, that's the thing. That was when Kane was the Scarlet Spider for a while, all the power and none of the responsibility.
Yep.
Because he didn't have Peter's memories,
Yeah.
And that's just him. And now the question is can Peter be Peter without being Peter? Can Ben Reilly just have what it meant to be Peter Parker inside of him, even though he never got the speech, Because that's the thing. That's the thing. Is no one has to give you that speech.
Yeah.
You should just know that speech at this point.
It's just he's have to find his own reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was just in the movie. In the actual comics, he got his full pay. He just didn't want to get involved. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm not a cop." Boy, if only superheroes still had that idea.
Oh.
Well, not for nothing. If they had just actual proper security, who has that much of a cash box office and just gets knocked over like that?
Well, again, it was 1962 too.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you should, especially for a wrestling match, man. What, doesn't have a couple of goons to stick by him? Okay, what do you want to talk about next?
You want to do Fantastic Four, Reckoning War?
Yeah, we can do that. This is a good book.
A lot happened this issue.
Yeah, because he's got to do it, man. And he's like Hermes Conrad, plug me in to coordinate the whole thing. And yeah, see, I knew this stuff from. This is what happened with when She-Hulk was which is weird because it means that this is just people pulling these things up from. I can't remember when that issue. Oh, you know what? But I actually just saw a memory on Facebook saying, "Hey, you should pick up the new She-Hulk series. It's whiz bang."
Yeah, well,
but that was what.
Didn't Dan Slott write that too? So didn't he write a She-Hulk series?
Yeah, probably. Yes, he did. I think.
Yeah.
Because that was the one when she was with Bookman. No, Kurtzberg, Lieber, Lieber and Kurtzberg. Yeah, because it was originally Lieber and Kurtzberg, then became Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Book. But now, as we've seen, the new She-Hulk book is out. So, but that's where we decided to have one Watcher who would not communicate. And then this is what it's very interesting just about how, the Watchers are more powerful than the gods, but the only thing more powerful than them are their own oaths. They take these oaths and they cannot make a statement or move beyond it. Meanwhile, Reed Richards and his elastic brain is filled with the knowledge of everything. And he gets back, he does his coordinating of all the assaults as he's also modifying and fixing things. And everyone is like super freaked out by Reed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, that. And that's actually, his deal with Moon Knight is actually really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Where he says, my power is the moon and he destroyed the moon. It's like, Khonshu is also a god of vengeance. Avenge him. Vance Astrovik, run with the shield because that's just terrifies the Badoon because they have somehow an ancestral memory of the future. I don't know how that works, but they got it.
Exactly.
He just knows that.
They know you're coming one day. They'll make them think today's the day.
What's interesting, and this is actually the part that I really love, is he tells Johnny, yes, I could fix your problem right now. It's very easy, but you are our most powerful member right now, and I need your fire.
Yes.
Then, and this is what's interesting about it, because then he actually, and we'll just jump ahead a bit here, he actually makes Johnny mad to fly off to go help Spire.
Mm-hmm.
And Reed's like, yeah, that's exactly what I predicted he would do. Which means that, yes, he wanted him to be powerfully flamey, and he wanted him at Spire.
Yes.
It's an interesting way that plays out. Meanwhile, you've got Dr. Doom breaking into the Super Vault to find the MacGuffin of MacGuffins, which we don't get to see what the MacGuffin of MacGuffins is in this one, do we? Do we get that reveal? I think we get that reveal later. But we've got Reed talking to Silver Surfer and all the battles going on across the universe, and they realize that the best that he has to go with all of the heralds are going to Asgard to gather the remains of Galactus, and I must go there too. Like, wait, are you helping them or are you helping the Asgardians? Don't ask me about my business, Reed. Don't ask me about my business. And that's where forbid this. And again, like I said, this is this idea that, how could you do that? It's like, it was just predictable. And what he is actually doing is sending Johnny off on this other adventure. And, we go to the Forever Gate. They send Nick Fury one place, and they're going another place. And they're like, wait, if we only get 3 jumps, how is all of us getting back? And Nick Fury's like, really? You thought any of us are coming back from this? Ain't you the pie-eyed optimist? Meanwhile, Uatu joins his brethren, and his brethren, of course, prior to that, they're all complaining, like, oh, who called this? It was Uatu. It's always Uatu. And he says, the time the reckoning war is now. Dun dun dun. Meanwhile, they come and they realize that the entire Shi'ar team, the Shi'ar super soldiers, have all been defeated by these guys, and this is the person that Ben saw would kill him in the future. Dun dun dun. Dun! And that's when Reed tells him, yeah, buddy, I'm dying too.
Yeah, the human mind wasn't meant to contain this knowledge. Yeah, I'm going to be dead in what did you say, 3 days or something?
3 days, yeah. Of course, as we say, you die, it happens, but you come back.
But I love how he still had time to give them makeovers. He's like, I think people will trust us more if we look at our classic designs and just throws them.
Well, yeah,
he shaves and throws them back in their classic costumes.
Yeah, well, their nanotechs, their suits are kind of nanotech, so he can reprogram them all very easy. And I like Ben saying, "Hey, I'm not used to showing this much thigh
anymore." Yeah.
Oh, and then we got Hulk.
Yep.
Did you read the Hulk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember and I am still not.
No.
I don't know. Is that Foggy Nelson as the attaché to the president there? I don't think they say it. It just looks a little like a Foggy Nelson. Yes, where they've tracked down Banner. We see the sad tale of Tony Stark, who, after they didn't need Stark weapons anymore, because they had gamma bombs,
And Basically, yeah. It's like they got rid of all mutants. Tony Stark died, and then Banner's like, well, what about everyone else? He's like, what about Blade, Moon Knight, Captain America, even Spider? And the Banner of this universe is like, you're just saying words. I don't know what you're saying to me.
Yeah, but it's just weird to me every time they flash inside the Hulk's the control room. Because, that's all imaginary, you know?
I know, it looks damaged. It's like, if it's in your head, you can fix that pretty easily, can't you?
Well, then you get the engine room, and the stage 4 is Marvel Zombies. It's in its own way, it's kind of ridiculous. And everyone's like, what is that thing? And, of course, we see that they have the boy. If you don't do what we say, we will use the boy. And I don't know what the point of the gun is, because he's counting down with the gun, and it looks like he's going to shoot, and then he just kicks the boy out, but the boy is actually his old assistant, Peter Parker. He got bit by a radioactive spider. It's like, wait, a spider? What kind of radiation were you using? Bum, bum, bum. Spider Hulk. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun read. I'll give it that. I do enjoy the book, but it's weird, too.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. It's a weird story, but it's kind of cool. It's cool, but it's weird. So
I just wonder, what hit me when I was reading this week? I'm like, this is Donny Cates. Is this Donny Cates' him trying to do his version of the Crossroads story? Basically, every couple issues, Hulk will jump to a different world or something for a while.
Maybe. I mean, I could see that. Like I said, and I'm just weirdly uncomfortable with the way that they're handling the Hulk and his entire. I mean, honestly, and again, it goes back to this idea of, dude, you are having really bad hallucinations, like auditory and. Didn't even Betty Banner show up in there at one point in the engine room? Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, this is not healthy. None of this is stuff that you should be doing.
I mean, or maybe at some point, maybe we'll see maybe someone's manipulating him or something. That's why he's hallucinating and stuff.
I mean, that could be too. Speaking of hulking brutes, did you happen to read Conan the King?
No, I did not.
So, if you don't recall, Conan the King is fighting on the island of the Salt Zombies. And this is after he got shipwrecked there, and he starts to realize that some of the Salt Zombies are actually his crewmates who died on the ship as they got crashed there. But he continues to fight. He makes it through till morning. Eventually, the Blood Gorillas find him, and he gets approached by the evil princess sorceress of the island. Although we don't know that, though obviously we all know that. Yeah, you're clearly an evil princess sorceress witch of the island. And this is a little weird how they do it, because they really wanted this to be Aztec gold, but it is the Hyborian age. So it's like, well, the Aztecs, they build these pyramids all the time, and actually there are always conquistadors that just show up. It's like, it really seems like a scene out of time where it's like, this is clearly conquistadors destroying, a great temple, and cursing the gold. But anyway, the idea is that, the conquistadors are driven off because, and of course what it was the princess falls for one conquistador, but then she betrays him after she sleeps with him because, mythos, and her punishment is she is put on they curse a bunch of gold, and they put her on a boat, and they send her off on the ship, and then she will be on the ship for all time. But no ship made of man can ever leave, so she has made a ship out of fingernails from the dead, because they cannot approach her and they cannot come to the gold. So that's the thing. But of course, Conan immediately sees through this and says, I'm not getting on your dang boat. You get on your dang boat, and kicks her into it. And she's like, yes, it was all my trap, and I did this because then you would have to take my place. But then they bring Amentoth up, the serpent sorcerer, and they say, "I saw you. You protected him before. If you do not do as I say, I will kill him." And that just causes Conan to laugh. As well you do. And I like that because honestly, I could definitely see the set sorcerer almost even saying, "Oh wow, so I'd be immortal. I live on this island surrounded by salt zombies, and yeah, that sounds cool. And I'd have all this magical power here. I could live with that. This is stuff I can work with." Then we get our backstory. This is, of course, Conan and Conan the Second of Aquilane when he's trying to send his son into exile because he wants his son to be a barbarian. And his son says, "No, Dad, you know what? You're going to be that way. I'm going to fight you for it." And he's like, "Okay, son, let's do this thing." And that is the end of that story. I'm really enjoying King Conan. This is by Aaron Esrar and Wilson. And it is just a very well-written, well-told story. It's Jason Aaron is the writer. Mahmoud Esrar is the artist. Matthew Wilson is our color artist. V.C. Travis Lanham doing those really gorgeous letters. Okay. And finally, Phil, what did you think of Thor?
Well, that was crazy.
It is crazy, although I like the fact that we got freaking back that, no, Gaia is Thor's mother.
Yes.
Now, there's the deeper aspect in this. Gaia isn't just the Earth. Gaia is the life force of the universe. So when you look at this, that maybe there is that triple goddess within the life force, or even at least a duality goddess of the Phoenix is Gaia. Gaia is the Phoenix, Mm-hmm. So when the Phoenix says, "I am your mother," it is because Gaia is her mother and the Gaia is Phoenix. But we also see that basically all the heroes assemble to fight the Thunder Mangog. And we see Thor realizes his friends are all going to get murdered by, Mangog and the lightning storm, because for what it's worth, Mangog kills gods all the time.
Yeah.
That's his thing. This is a real Omega level threat, and as powerful as all of the heroes are, it is still an Omega level threat for them. But Thor calls upon Gaia for the power, and then Odin comes to him and says, "I didn't give you the full Odin force."
Well, he said I couldn't because, while I'm alive, I can't give you every single drop, so.
But he says, "But in order to undo everything that I did wrong, I have to give it to you." And then we get, "Oh, Father Thor."
Mm-hmm.
Bum, bum, bum. And that's cool. We've been waiting for that. Now put the hammer down. The Thor Force, next issue. So, he has been a Herald of Galactus. Man, what hasn't Thor done? I'm glad. I really liked this issue. It went fast. A lot of these issues this week went fast, I felt.
Yeah.
Where there's like a lot of action, a lot of tail, but, it gets through to the end, and that's okay. All right, Phil, you have any other thing you want to talk about this week?
No, I'm good.
Why don't you give them all that important information about the Capes and Lunatics Network, how they can give us money, how they can buy fancy merch, and how they can talk to us if they are so inclined.
All right, kids. So, yes, if you want to send your thoughts on any of the weekly every week we review comics. If you want to send them your thoughts on any of the weekly comics, we have creators Jed McKay and Clay McLeod Chapman coming up if you have questions for them. Again, keep an eye on social media for when we have interviews, and you can send in your questions. Send them to capesandlunatics@gmail.com or the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And like I said, keep an eye on the social media. Capes and Lunatics and Superconnectivity both have their own pages on Facebook, Twitter. Capes and Lunatics is on Instagram. You can find links to all the social medias for all the shows. The YouTube channel, every episode of all of our shows, including Superconnectivity, get their own videos. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Most importantly, if you can, please subscribe to the Patreon, because right now we're out here on our own. Every contribution helps, but $3 to $5 gets you early access to those creator interviews, including Mr. DG Chichester's here every month talking to me and Lilith, and Patreon exclusive superhero movie brackets. Find out which superhero movie is the worst of all time. There's time to catch up because the round 2 is about to begin. And pick yourself up some Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch at you can find links to everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics.
Awesome. And, of course, you can always write to me that old-fashioned email way that our mothers and fathers once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet shows like Naomi, 9 o'clock on Tuesdays. When shows are new, I live tweet them at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Very good. Thank you, Mas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have had a wonderful evening, hopefully, listening to me and Phil chat, connecting all the things supremely. Please, thank you for connecting, and please join us again next week and super connect with us once again. Good night.
Good night. And remember to check out Charlie Esser's guest appearance coming soon on the Trapped in the World, Howard the Duck podcast.
I love Howard the Duck.
With Noel Tate and one of our patrons, Russell, so.
Woo! It'll be great.
Hi, I'm one of the High Priests of Khonshu Ray, and I have the sacred privilege of providing you, the loony listener, with a podcast honouring Marvel's very own Moon Knight. So join me and a host of others at Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, or support the show by becoming a Patreon member. Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. It's time to get your Khonshu on.